To speak for public comment? Unfortunately, not. It's closed. Let me, give me 1 second. 4:40, Jane, it's 4:45 when they close it out, but unfortunately, there's not a way to sign it. Next public comment is scheduled for. Will be November 2nd. So next week is the fourth week, so typically our town council meeting is the fourth week of the month. So the next public comment will be November 2nd.
So I go to the website and just.
You can sign, yeah, it'll be posted all, yeah. You're good. So let me check in with the folks here and see what's going on for tomorrow.
Yeah, just about over. Okay.
We're gonna ask her about the graffiti in the neighborhood.
I gotta sit down, okay. We're gonna sit again?
Okay, let me see if the feed is going on my other phone. I'm gonna go into YouTube. I'm gonna check it on my other phone and make sure this is streaming because last time it didn't stream at all.
Cold in here.
It was warm. I'm gonna use my backup phone. Okay. Let's see if it's working. Yes, it is city council. And how much you want to bet Manny Pelaez will be absent from this
All right,
meeting?
good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience. We just finished up a B session as folks find their seats. So it's now it's about 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday of October 2022. We'll begin our public comment citizens to be heard session. We have several folks signed up to speak tonight. I'll call names in order of sign up. I'll call the next person if you can be ready to come up. As well, we'll keep everything moving. We'll start with John Melendez. Is John Melendez here? Okay, Mr. Melendez, you'll be followed by Antonia Infante.
Clayton Perry's here. Looks like Manny Pelaez is absent. He's supposed to have a town hall meeting, Mario Bravo. today. Interesting. And the District 6 councilwoman's not here either. And Courage doesn't have the courage to be here.
Good afternoon, my name is John Melendez. I'm a resident of District 10. I've written an article recently on Infuse SA covering the Migrant Resource Center's failings. As you can see the headline of the article for yourself, if you don't mind, you can check them out on infusesa.org. Just so you know a little bit about me, I've been down to MRC a lot, speaking with the migrants, neighborhood residents, and businesses. I've conducted interviews, and I've conducted interviews, taking pictures and recorded videos so people can get an honest perspective of what's going down there. It's not pretty side. I think everyone understands here, especially how bad the optics are. That's why there's this knee-jerk reaction by council to point out that Catholic Church runs this facility, and that is true. What is also true is that this body voted in favor of passing agenda item number 29 on June 23rd, which stood up the MRC on July 7th. What is also true is that the city is the tenant of the lease agreement with Canadian Texas LTD, no matter who is running the day-to-day operations. What is also true is that Catholic Charities has only been running this facility for less than a month. What is also true is that many of the problems the city created have been passed off to Catholic Charities. Case in point, I was down by the MRC during the very early morning hours of September 14th, while the city was still running the facility's day-to-day operations, not Catholic Charities. We have pictures and footage of many migrants sleeping outside the facility on the concrete pavement with strange tinfoil-looking type blankets, which we will be pushing out soon. Why are they sleeping outside on the pavement if the facility holds 600 cots inside? Could the facility be at times past capacity? And who's going to stand up for the second migrant center? I'm glad to hear that Councilman Peleas from District A will be standing up one in his district, but what about the rest of you? The one on San Pedro and Councilman Bravo's district is seemingly done in secret. Which one of you is willing to try to sneak this in past your constituents? We know that Peter Sakai in our recent debates said he'd be willing to use county funds to stand on that if he's elected. Is anyone here prepared to say the same? So the picture displayed a moment ago shows a seemingly pregnant woman sleeping on the sidewalk pavement outside the MRC. I took this picture around noon time about a month ago on a very hot day. If after 3 days the migrants staying at the MRC don't find a bus or a plane ticket, they end up homeless. This isn't the American dream. This isn't what they came for. This is inhumane. And I do believe that these people coming into the facility are seen more as dollar signs than as people. It's really sad that millionaires instantly profit from the system exploiting the most vulnerable among us. These images are becoming of our city, and there are many more like them. Imagine for a second this was happening in your district. How would your constituents feel? If you really do care about people, you can't support a system like this.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Melendez. Antonia Infante. Ms. Infante, you'll be followed by Michelle Gary.
Good afternoon. My name is Antonia Infante, and I live in 1220 Muncie, Government Hill. I've been in this home, my husband and my family. My husband for 38 years, and I've been there for 33 years. I'm supporting the community organization amendment because in our neighborhood, we need to have freedom of speech, and we don't have that. We don't have a voice. Anything that happens in there, we don't have a voice. It doesn't matter what happens in there. Our neighborhood doesn't inform anything to anybody. I want to be part of the organization, and I'm not part of that. I won't say the details because I'm not gonna mention the details of why I need an organization. But we need an organization that represents. We want everybody's voice to be heard. With all the development that has been going on in our neighborhood, it's been a target for all the people who want to flip and build and do everything what they want, and they don't inform the city or whoever it is, don't inform anything to us. And that is not right, because we pay, especially now, we pay way too much taxes, and that is not fair. And I want to tell you something to you, Mayor. In the last election, you were with us on Mason Street. And because this problem has been going on, and you know that, it's been going on for a while. And I want to tell you this straight to you, because we talked to you, and you said, at this coming election, we're gonna solve this problem. So we here again, Mayor. And District 2 knows also. But I'm asking you, because we vote for you, this is the second time that we come here to you. And it seems like you don't want to solve this problem. What reason? I don't know. But thank you very much, and you have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Infante. Michelle Berry. Michelle Berry. Steve Versio. Mr. Versio will be followed by Dick Cole.
Good evening, council. My name is Steve Versio. I'm a homeowner in Beverlyville. I'm a member of Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition UDC committee. Our committee submitted 13 amendments. 8 of those have been brought to city council and recommended for approval. Tier 1 amendments have been compromised through work with staff and input from committees and commissions. We worked with the city before, during, and after our applications, and then again before, during, and after hearings. We withdrew our gas station amendment and worked with another citizen, Dick Cole, to provide a compromised gas station distancing amendment that was reasonable and fair. 3 of the Tier 1 amendments brought to council are related to public participation and engagement. Our mission statement starts out, the Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition is a group of San Antonio inner city neighborhoods organized to promote broad-based citizen participation in public policy issues. In our city's guiding principles of public participation, we find this: every input provided by the public is another step toward a more engaged community and sustained participation. Unfortunately, just because council approves the public participation engagement policy does not mean every policy in place aligns with that vision today. When notifying neighborhood associations on the registry about a plan amendment and zoning changes was instituted, it was an improvement in the policy. The realities of that situation today limit the city's ability to achieve that guiding principle of public participation. Notices for plan amendments and rezoning requests arrive 1 week before the public meeting. The UDC states that individual citizens who reside outside the 200 feet notice required by this chapter, but within the boundaries of a registered neighborhood association, are considered notified when any such notice is sent to the neighborhood association. This is a great burden to many hardworking neighborhood associations. Neighborhood association leaders are volunteers who are doing an amazing job handling many issues in urban neighborhoods. These neighborhood leaders are working on issues such as streets and sidewalks, stray animals, homelessness, elderly support, emergency aid during storm, displacement, demolitions, and task forces. Not every NA has a zoning commission. Not every NA sends newsletters. Community organizations could assist with communication on these notices, so that more of the neighborhood outside 200 feet are actually notified of changes. Remember, our city's guiding principle of public participation. Every input provided by the public is another step toward a more engaged community and sustained participation. So then every extra resident that a community organization can reach when they receive the notice is another step toward a more engaged community. Amendment 16.6, 16.8, and 16.10 are another step toward a more engaged community and sustained participation. Please support and approve all.
Thank you, Mr. Christie. David Cole. Ms. Cole, you'll be followed by Stacy Schwanz.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Tia Cole. I live at 105 Greenwood Street in Government Hill. I'm a District 2 homeowner, property owner, and a District 10 small business owner. I'm here today to speak as the applicant for Amendment 26-1. This amendment defines the intensity and spacing of gas stations for all neighbors and neighborhoods. Along with 200 gas station amendments, 26-1 is the merged, revised, improved product of all three. Simply put, this amendment will require new gas stations to have a distance barrier between their underground fuel tanks and pumps to existing homes, schools, multifamily units, daycares, and assisted living properties. The set distance is 200 feet for a mega gas station, storing over 50,000 gallons of liquid fuel underground, and 100 feet for smaller gas stations, storing less than 50,000 gallons. Throughout each commission, committee, and board hearing in the UDC amendment process, I listened to feedback, worked with DSD staff, received city attorney's input, revised, modified, and I'm right here today to ask for your support. Also, I ask for your support for Amendment 16.8 and 16.10, Community Organization Notice and Community Organization Registry. Both allow for city development information and civic engagement from more San Antonio citizens. These external amendments were also approved through every step of the rigorous hearing and multi-committee process to arrive here before you for recommendation. This is an opportunity for the city to be a good custodian, protecting and enhancing the character, quality, and equity of districts and neighborhoods all over our city, and giving voice to all San Antonians. Thanking you in advance for helping to make San Antonio a better place to live and be with your support of these amendments for inclusion in the UDC.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Stacy Schwanz. Ms. Schwanz will be followed by Dora Pettis.
Hello, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Stacy Swans, and I live at 203 Radiance in District 2. For the good of my neighbors who have rallied in opposition and compromise on several zoning cases, I support the UDC amendments that are a result of neighborhood concerns across San Antonio on issues relating to the public participation process and to address infill development of gas stations in neighborhoods as the city grows. These amendments are necessary to stabilize our neighborhoods and strengthen our partnership with the city, as well as provide more accessible communication, including the implementation of the City Council's public participation principles. Our neighborhoods struggle with many of these issues which these amendments seek to address, and I support these amendments so that all communities can thrive. I request that you support the following UDC amendments, 16A and 1610, the addition of community organization registration and notice, encourages public participation from those who have a different focus area than the current neighborhood boundaries, and really sharing information and giving more citizens access to that thing. Isn't that part of the city's quest for equity and inclusion? I also request your support for UDC Amendment 26-1, which sets reasonable minimum distances for gas stations away from homes, schools, and multifamily residences based on the size of their fuel storage tanks. I respectfully ask that you consider these recommendations and include them in the UDC. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schwanz. Dora Pettis. Ms. Pettis, you can follow by Kim Allen.
Hello, City Council. My name is Dora Pettis. This is not my first time here to speak. I do not like speaking in public. I speak at City Council to protect the city streets where I live. The streets that go by my corner house, that house I inherited from my parents, that house where I grew up. I do not come here when they build banks or apartments in my registered neighborhood that are over a mile away from me. I come here when they want to remove affordable family houses across the street from my home and zone it to a gas station. My registered neighborhood boundaries are almost identical to my zip code boundaries. Only one person in my zip code is on the registry and gets a zoning notice. I asked the city staff if I can have an organization that we too can get a notice. We need a notice so that we don't have to search through 100 zoning agenda items every month. The city staff says no because the city council makes policies and that is not the policy. Please help us. The policy should let someone, an organization, also get the notice. Please support and approve UDC Amendment 1618, 1610, and 26-1. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Kim Dow.
I would like to give 1 minute to Bianca Maldonado.
Okay, I got that. I'll call you, Bianca, when your name comes up. All right, we'll move to Will McLeod.
All right.
Mr. McLeod, you all by Ray Morales.
Okay. I have AV for the AV guy here.
Is that a photo, Will?
Yeah, it's a photo. You can just set it on top of there, just like that. Okay, good evening, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, City Council. My name is Will McLeod. Speak on a couple of issues that has not been taken care of. Like this right here is grass, shrubs, blocking the yield sign over at the intersection of Wurzbach and Wurzbach and Medical, over here by the CVS pharmacy. It has been like that for several months now. It's in Councilman Pelias' district. I wish he was here. This is the second time I've been here, which he's not here. Also, have a code compliance meeting, public meeting at pre-K for SA. It was supposed to be Monday. It was canceled at the last minute due to unforeseen circumstances. And I wanted to talk to Mr. Ramirez, Code Officer Ramirez, and Code Officer Linguis about this. And then right across the street from there, they have mud on the sidewalk, on the pedestrian crosswalk. It needs to be swept up. I made multiple 311 calls. Nothing has happened. I'm at wit's end. I've cut those shrubs before myself with garden shears twice. I don't want to have to do y'all's job the third time. I know y'all can take care of it. Y'all done it before. It needs to get done. Also, there's graffiti over in District 7, over by Lee's Garden, and around the Circle K over by Babcock and Wurzbach. That needs to be cleaned up as well. They keep tagging the areas. Something needs to be done. More patrols. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm tired of looking at the graffiti and the mess over there. Also in District 6, the District 6 City Councilwoman's not here today. I don't know why, but there's dirt on the sidewalk on Navy Federal Credit Union, supposed to be taking care of it, supposed to sweeping up that dirt on the sidewalk, and that's over there on Ingram and 151. Why hasn't that been taken care of? I mean, why do I have to continue to bring up the same issues over and over again? That needs to be fixed, and that's why I'm here today. Hopefully, y'all can get something done about that. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLeod. Ray Morales. All of us.
Thank you.
I'm Ray Morales, Prince Douglas, resident of District 10, retired architect, member of Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition, and the Historic West Side Residential Association. I'm here to ask for your support on the Tier 1 UDC amendments 16-1 through 16-12. UDC codes are key to stabilizing the neighborhoods. Amendment 16-1 through 12 are a result of neighborhood concerns across San Antonio on issues of public participation process through short-term rentals. These amendments are supported by the 50-plus neighborhood association that comprise the coalition. I'm also here in opposition to the ADU amendments 23-6 and 23-21. Let's be clear, we, the T1NC Amendment Committee, and T1NC are not against ADUs. We only have serious concerns with this amendment 23-6 as written. There was a lack of public participation when both subcommittees did not take this amendment out to educate and be vetted by the San Antonio community prior to the UTC process. Just look at the number of comments, responses, and the lack of understanding from residents on the ramifications that go with this amendment. This will affect all of San Antonio, but it will be worse for older neighborhoods with smaller lots inside the urban core, especially those that do not have an HOA. I support the CCR declaration that Councilmember Garcia made on the housing prices, and I agree with that. But despite city staff, the subcommittee votes and statements, this amendment 23-6 does not ensure or require affordable housing of any kind. As a pro forma or actual ROI return on investment being conducted at a $40,000 remodel with $900 rent, the payback is well beyond 10 years. So rental income to supplement mortgage payment, consideration of higher interest, insurance, and higher property tax due to improvements is dubious. The people that can afford to make this investment would charge market rate or the highest rate possible to make back their investment. It will not be 30, 60, or even 80% AMI. Our city will become an Airbnb. The cities such as LA, Vancouver, Portland, Seattle, etc., studied by the subcommittees for ADU model code language, have the worst affordable housing prices after passage. Just physical cities. The city has a problem enforcing owner-occupied short-term rentals, as brought up in the session meeting. They can't even tell us how many STRs exist in San Antonio. We have asked. Nearly 50% of home purchases in 2021 went to investors, according to the Express News. Many were international investors, and many of those joined the STRs. There are many other serious issues, technical issues with this amendment, such as the 2-meter provision that will actually create 2 residences on one single-family lot, no stormwater or drainage review for infill development. The 3-foot side property setback allowed will create a problem for fire access, removal of public hearings for change to the community, removal of occupancy limits, expansion and size of ADUs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Cynthia Steele. Good. Tony Garcia. Mr. Garcia, you'll be followed by Rose Hill.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Tony Garcia. I live at 243 East Weisach here in the city of San Antonio. I'm a member of the Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition Steering Committee and chair of its UDC committee, which consists of 9 members from various districts of the city. Tier 1 considers the role of San Antonio neighborhoods as the core element in developing a just, sustainable, and affordable city. We have supported policies that have seek to expand community engagement and improve transparency between community members and the city. We have supported policies that have advocated for investment to renovate and preserve existing affordable housing. Tier 1 has historically advocated for the protection of San Antonio neighborhoods while supporting new development that integrates itself well with our older neighborhoods. Almost 2.5 years ago, the Tier 1 group started the process of reviewing the UDC for possible amendments, relying on input from its coalition members. Over the ensuing period, the committee has met on numerous occasions with Development Services Department staff. We have removed some amendments, have combined some amendments, and have revised most, if not all, amendments to reach consensus with the city. These amendments now being presented to City Council as a true collaborative effort between Tier 1 and the city. We will respectfully request approval for these amendments being presented to City Council in November. One final comment. There is still a concern with certain provisions of Amendment 23-6, the amendment for ADUs, which has been submitted by the Neighborhood Housing Services Department. While the Tier 1 committee has met with the Neighborhood Housing Services Department to express concerns and has offered alternative recommendations, the amendment continues to move forward essentially without major revisions to protect the neighborhoods. We understand the need for ADUs, but in our haste to approve this current amendment, we believe it will create more problems in the future for our neighborhoods. We believe that Councilman Bravo's suggestions should merit some serious consideration. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Rose Hill. Ms. Hill, you'll be followed by Marie Marie Stout.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Rose Hill, President of Government Hill Landscape Association and President of the YouTube Creditors Roundtable. I'm gonna ask that, Maria De La Garza and, Marie Sauer, if I can have the time for here.
Maria De La Garza,
Yes.
could you raise your hand? Okay, and,
Marie
Who else?
Sauer, Marie Sauer.
Marie?
Marie, raise your hand, Marie.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Council. As many as you've heard, I'm not gonna go through this whole timeline, but I wanted to give you all extensive dates and timelines to be able to let you know how far back this has gone. As many of you know, yeah, we've had a lot of problems with development in Government Hill, a lot of economic development because of the pearls come that way. Back in 2007, Government Hill got sued. I was not around when that happened. But there was an agreement between the two associations, Government Hill Alliance and Government Hill Community. And they both pledged that they would work together, and they reneged. The court order is coming back into effect. Because the fact of the matter is that we don't want what's happening in Government Hill to go talk like other neighborhoods associations. We don't want that to happen. It's a disgrace that we've had to come this long, way before I even became president. And right now, as we speak, there's still illegal things going on. So as Councilman, you say that we don't know all the information. You're correct, because you never have sat down with me to say, let me see what you got to offer the sale. What is the documentation? We met with city attorneys, we met with city managers, we met with our lawyers, because we had to hire a lawyer. But you don't know any of that. You're basing it on people that you're campaigning for you or who you're with in the Government Hill area, that's fine. We have no problem with that. But you need to stop looking, listen. So that's why council people that held up UDCs gave us an opportunity to weigh in of all the people that have been coming down. And not one phone call, not one email to us to sit down and hash it out. So for you to make those comments are inconsistent and inaccurate. If you're gonna make information, have the documentation and the facts to back it up. Second of all, I just wanted to say that the whole process, there was one letter, Ms. Sandoval, and I'd like to read it. You wrote this letter sometime back. I would just real quick like to say that this letter inspired a lot of us in the neighborhoods. And it said something like this, that in the last 60 days, your neighborhoods had strong concerns about opposition to proposed administrative changes, specifically the new neighborhood associations, how they register. And you did not support that recommendation because of the issues that happened in the past. So I would like to refer back to your this letter that you said you had some really good recommendations about not having the neighborhoods separated, but allowing people to come in and register. Right now, you can go to, like city manager said there, you can go to any of the sites on the portal right now, the DSD, and get that information. It's open record. But some are making it to believe that the association does not want to give them that information. That is inaccurate. If you come to the meetings and you behave and you don't attack, you can't participate. Because we have to work together. We can't work alone. We can't do it all at the same time. But we can't have neighborhoods attacking neighborhoods. And Councilman, you putting neighborhoods and constituents against each other is a bad idea. That I can tell you. So all I wanted to say is basically, we want to work together with our communities. We're leaders. All the leaders across San Antonio have one important thing. We go by the registry tool. That helps our organizations operate on a day-to-day basis with the code compliance, with your office, Mr. Mayor, all this information that you send to us. We grab that and we take it back to our communities. What we don't have, and what we're not considering consummate, is we don't have that money to get notifications every time a zoning case comes out. We can knock on every single door, let everybody know. But we do try to put it on Facebook. We're trying to get out there, and the people who come to the meetings are getting that information. The elected officials come to our meetings every month. Every month we hold a meeting. And we're having our meetings at St. Paul's Episcopal. Your District 2 representatives come there. They get the information. We get the information from you. We try it, but we do the best we can. The registry is a tool for all neighborhoods across San Antonio. And I can tell you that if we have 2, 3, 4 organizations, it's not going to go well. You can see what's happening in Government Hill. Government Hill is a prime prime example why we don't want this to happen to any other neighborhood association. Communication. Communication is what we've been trying to do, but we can't, people are gonna have different aspects of what the organization's about. But the bottom line is, why was a registry tool, why was it even invented? It was invented for us to be part of it, for you to be part of us, for us to be part of SAPDAB code. But the thing about it, we're not gonna please everybody, but the only thing is that I can basically say is that the issue, we did have a conversation with the tier 1 group. And with the tier 1 group has known the issues in our neighborhood. And to take that information to 9 good other different fresh council presidents and to have something like that happen, I wouldn't wish that on the worst enemy. But we have to come together. And as we speak now, there's still things being wrong with the groups. They're coming in, they're taking our names off of the Secretary of State. They're coming in, falsifying documentation, taking us off the registry. If that's acceptable to you, Councilman, then I don't know what's right, because what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
This
When we come
survey
together.
addressing the whole body, not one council member.
So I agree, yes, sir. I'm just basically saying that we need to work together. What you said, Mr. Mayor, and what the city manager said is correct. This has been going on since 2018. We met with city officials, assistant managers, we met with city attorneys and our attorney. And we came to a conclusion that we would work it through. In 2020, this all dissolved, and all of a sudden now it's coming back from the dead. So I just wholeheartedly have your considerations, do not have more than one association, because I don't want this to happen to any other neighborhood association. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvia Alanis. Maria de la Garza, are you here? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure I got the right time, given over to Rosa. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Sylvia Ladins, and I'm in District 2, on Eastgate Neighborhood Association President, 830 South Drive. I want to tell our councilman I love him very much. There's things that we're not thinking the same. He likes tattoos, I don't like tattoos. He likes murals, I don't like murals. Okay, just to put you a little bit at ease. Councilman, there's things that have been happening way before you came in. Courts, suits, and I cannot represent a neighborhood. I'm gonna be going through those things. The first thing, we don't have the money, the association don't have money. And I represent people like my parents, elderlies. I'm their voice, I'm their ears. I represent them, and I don't have time to put some money in to go get an attorneys and all of what these people did. When you were campaigning, you promised District 2 President Roundtable that you were gonna be there. Everybody swore. We have seen you once or twice in our meetings. You need to hear, listen to us, the constituents.
Please direct your comments to the whole body.
Okay,
Um, he needs to listen to us, the constituents. Chairman is not your constituent, maybe 1 or 2 residents in Tier 1, but we are District 2. We need to hear more from our councilmen. But what I'm saying is that 29-1, 16A, 1610, I believe, that's my opinion, it should be a policy and not an amendment. We want to take care of our neighborhoods and not create chaos, and this, by the communities, is chaos. Thank you, that's what I want to mention.
Thank you, Ms. Alanis. Oscar Hicks. Is Oscar Hicks here?
Yeah.
Okay. Eva Redondo. All right. Bianca Maldonado. Ms. Maldonado, you can followed by Barbara Without.
Thank you, Mayor. I was valid and Barbara Whitehall both lived in their time as me, so I guess I'm the last one.
Barbara, you're good, okay? All right. You have 9 minutes.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sandoval, Mayor.
fellow council members. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. My name is Bianca Maldonado, I reside at 457 Club Drive, and I'm here to read a statement on behalf of the Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition. Many of you have received letters from us within the past 24 hours and also within those who signed on PCP as the UDC amendments move forward through the process. Sorry, bear with me, I've got my glasses. This is regarding the UDC's the support by the Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition for the 16 series of amendments, also the 10-1, 13-1, 19-1, 20-1, 27-3, 24-7, 27-5, 30-1. An opposition is expressed for UDC amendments 1-1, 2-1, 23-5, 23-6, and there are also grave concerns regarding 22-21 and 23-26. We sent you these 49 letters from your constituents from 36 neighborhood associations and HOAs, 2 coalitions representing multiple neighborhoods across 8 different council districts, as well as 13 individuals who submitted letters regarding the UDC amendments. These letters are not the result of quick action, although they may look like form letters because the letters were so technical and detailed. They have been vetted carefully. Neighborhood associations do not put letters on their letterheads without consideration of individuals who submitted those letters because of their knowledge and engagement. The Tier 1 Neighborhood Coalition provided information through workshops, presentations at neighborhood associations and coalitions, online information, as well as talked to residents about their questions and concerns. We gathered concerns and information from neighborhoods that resulted in Tier 1's original 13 amendments. We appreciate the planning department for the opportunity to meet and to work together. As you can see above, these associations, coalitions, and individuals actively supported 21 amendments and only opposed 3 amendments, but have serious concerns about 2 more amendments, the 22-21 regarding the comprehensive planning program, specifically the codification of the corridor plans, and the 23-6 ADU amendment, which raised concerns that some of the elements are to spur investments for STRs, inappropriate uses by investors, particularly if the city grants them double meters, effectively changing a home with an auxiliary unit to 2 separate units without a zoning change and no public input. These concerns reflect the lack of meaningful, serious engagement of the resident stakeholders and neighborhoods on these 2 issues by the city. Issues that directly affect these residents. Good public engagement produces better policy. As there's a lot on Councilwoman of District 1 once wrote to us, quote, transparent and well-organized planning processes that acknowledge community concerns and point to conflicts and allow residents to work through them in an equitable way are important. We'd like you to continue honoring that too. For the record, the following neighborhoods have written letters and joined Tier 1 in their support: Alamo Farmsteads, Beacon Hill Neighborhood Association, Churchill Forest HOA, Churchill Forest Neighborhood Association, Crown Hill Park Neighborhood Association, Delcrest Neighborhood Association, Concerned Citizens of Dignity Hill, Eastern Triangle Group, Highland Park Neighborhood Association, Historic Westside Residents Association, Ingram Hills Neighborhood Association, Inspiration Hills Neighborhood Association, Keystone Neighborhood Association, King William Association, Las Palmas Neighborhood Association, Mankin Park Neighborhood Association, Memorial Heights Neighborhood Association, Mission San Jose Neighborhood Association, Monte Vista Historical Association, Monte Vista Terrace Neighborhood Association, North Central Thousand Oaks Neighborhood Association, Oakland Estates Neighborhood Association, Blue Road Neighborhood Association, Tanglewood Resident Association, Tobin Hill Community Association, Uptown Neighborhood Association, Via Coronado Neighborhood Association, Weston Open Action, Westwood Square Neighborhood Association, Woodlawn Lake Community Association, Los Jardines Neighborhood Association, Monticello Park Neighborhood Association, Lavaca Neighborhood Association, the Northside Neighborhoods for Organized Development, Bonnie Connor, District 8, former councilman, Patricia Crasher from River Road, Jim Kennedy from River Road, Bryce Gonzalez from Keystone, Rebecca Davis from Denver Heights, Alan Neff from Denver Heights, Beatrice Moreno from Tobin Hill, Margaret Margaret Leeds from King William, Susan Richardson from Malacca, Monica Sanino from Greenwood Hill, Steve Verseek from Government Hill, Christina Wright from Alta Vista, Delview Area Neighborhood Association, Alta Vista Neighborhood Association, and Kathleen Trenchard from Malacca. That's a significant amount of neighborhood associations that express concern about the ADU. That is primarily one of the biggest concerns moving forward. When you, as an individual who served on the Planning Commission Technical Advisory Committee, thank you for opening up and expanding the membership. I was one of those who came on at the last minute. The ADU unit amendment was the most contentious amendment that came from PTAC. It passed by one vote. No other amendment passed by that narrow margin. The vote was 10-9. And the people who missed that vote that day thought, wow, am I going to make a huge difference? Because it is a monumental input. One of the questions that I heard raised during the session, not only UDC amendments impact residents of the city equally. Certain individuals have protections that are put forth by master plan development communities, by HOA, maybe they live in a historic district, maybe they live in an NCD. But if they don't, then they only have the UDC to protect them. So when we allow a second meter to be installed on a single-family residential property for a detached unit, it's incumbent on the city to enforce. And if I didn't have experience in my own neighborhood, just this past year, where it took PSD to terminate an illegally operated ADU as an STR, because it was investor-owned, main house was rented out, the ADU was rented out, 8 months, 8 months, council members, 8 months. That's a long time for compliance. And there was also a curve in education. The code enforcement officer didn't realize that it needed to be owner-occupied for enforcement. So that's a concern. We feel that when you look at affordable housing, a sub-meter is a tool that's available today that wouldn't cause that conflict. And it's a more affordable option for affordable housing. Because when we get into tenants' rights, you have a tenant who's on that property in that ADU, and they would pull their electricity service in their name, they think they're wrong that right to have that, right? Well, they're not, where's the disclosure to ensure they know that the owner must live on that property? It's part of their rights. And then they're displacing people in that particular situation. I think the sub-meter has never been discussed. Out of all the compromises that Tier 1 has had with development services and with the community through this entire amendment process regarding the city's amendments, Tier 1's amendments, and other external amendments, there were no compromises on the ADU amendment. None. And there was the most significant amendments about that particular element. So it's a time when you take a step back and you look at, why was Tier 1 formed? We were formed because of the SHR plan and the lack of public engagement and the lack of acknowledging the concerns that neighborhoods have as we plan into the future. And I would be remiss if I didn't state that the community organization, notification of the community organization, that amendment originally started notifying planning team members. We're spending millions of dollars on SATR. We're creating these plan teams. But guess what? Goodbye when the plan is done, because the city will not communicate with you about land use changes. So what you have today is the final amendment is a slimmed down version of what the city was able to execute because they didn't have contact lists for all those plan team members. So I think it's important to understand the history about the amendments and how they evolved to where they are today, because they did start very broad. We recognize that community organizations are registered with the city. Many of those receive funding from the city. And so we thought they are a stakeholder who are part of the plan team process and are usually a part of the plan team. So DSD said, hey, we have your contact information. So that's how that amendment worked. And I thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maldonado. We have one more person, Phyllis Newman.
My name is Phyllis Ann Newman, and I'm owner and resident of 8 Unit Apartment Building. The paper that's being passed out is I've already sent that to all the offices. So I'm going to read it. When I found out that my building had been rezoned to residential, I approached Councilman Mark Hall and explained my dilemma of being zone residential. Councilman Mark Hall suggested creating the CCR, which would request rezoning back to multifamily. Even though I had the support of the councilman and also of the local neighborhood organization, Government Hill Alliance, by members' vote, during the rezoning process at one of the hearings, another resident, Denise Homer, spoke against my rezoning request. She started out her rebuttal asking if the board were aware that there were 2 official neighborhood associations in the Government Hill area. Then she stated that Government Hill United was against the rezoning. Even though the rezoning was eventually approved, I decided to attend Government Hill United's next meeting. At that meeting, I asked why this association had spoken against my project without even inviting me to their meeting to explain my project. As members looked around, not knowing what I was talking about, I explained that Denise had spoke for the organization against my project. At that time, Denise denied my allegations and said that I had misunderstood her and that she was speaking not for Government Hill United, but voicing her personal opinion. To my knowledge, this organization is now just meeting in a bar, which was about 2 months ago, one of their meetings said they're no longer meeting. And then also, when I look at the initiation from Marlene for this amendment, Marlene used to be with Government Hill United, now she's over with Government Hill Community. So it just seems to me like, Mayor, what you mentioned about the squabble, you know, there needs not to be a squabble. There needs to be more focus on exactly what the issue is here. And the issue is about us working together. And at the moment, there is a conflict that's there. And the only resolution seems to be if we can fall back on the laws that were there and put in place. And they were put in place for a reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Newman. That's everyone who signed up this evening. Have a great night.
Little squelch of speech. Attempted. I'm gonna have to email Kamalis. All right, there you go. There is the citizens to be heard portion of the San Antonio City Hall. We are live streaming because the city will not live stream. And they should be live streaming. I hope they fix that. Oh, I'm gonna go this way. Like walk over here. See, I don't know what this is. This is, I guess, Chargers. But this is basically the city hall right here. Here's the stairs. That's authorized personnel only. It's an interesting building. They can walk up here, and that's probably what they do. They come downstairs over here, and then onto the dais. That way, and then that way. So, it's kind of a shame that Manny was not here today.
Thank you.
Oh, I wonder if that
Hey, you shouldn't have walked up behind me. You made me really nervous.
Oh, okay.
All I could see were your feet, and I could see somebody behind me, and I was scared that somebody was going to hit me over the head or something.
No.
Because I saw the security guard look, and I'm like, is somebody approaching me? Somebody going to hit me?
No, I was saying like.
Oh, we're going to kill your signage amendment. Go away.
Okay. I was about to say, I was asking about that. Did it make it here yet?
No, it hasn't made it yet. It hasn't even made it out of the subcommittee.
Dang.
I mean, we voted to move it up, but it hasn't been heard by the big committee.
Big committee. When will it be heard by the big
I
committee?
have no idea.
No
Carl,
idea.
what's his name?
What's his name? Which?
Later.
Later. Okay.
I gotta crap this.
Okay. All right. So basically,
That's great. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I always have to because they're not live streaming over here.
Right.
You know, on the TV.
They don't do it during Citizens to be heard, right?
Yeah, they don't do it during Citizens to be Heard, so that's why they used to.
I think we should get it back.
We do. I filed a complaint with the Department of Justice
Oh, yeah.
because they're supposed to close caption, and they're not closed caption. I used that, and it went to a mediator.
How did it change to not be public anymore?
Because here's the issue.
Are they saying it's money? I think
The issue is they don't want people grandstanding. That's what Cheryl Scully told me.
Well, she's a Kool-Aid girl.
I know. And then she goes,
Well, she's
well,
gone, so why can't
she goes, that was before my time. I asked her that during when they had the budget hearing.
This always used to be public, on TV.
Yeah, and they stopped about 2005 or
Well, we
so.
need to change that.
Yeah,
If
we.
you got any ideas for that, let me know, because I think it's ridiculous.
I'd say file a complaint with the
Plus,
department.
these guys, they love to be on TV,
I know.
especially now that.
You know what?
Hey, you know what? Elections are coming up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so how do we get that to happen? Do you know?
Well, what we do is I would file a Department of Justice.
No. Let's just ask them. Just get the council people to say yes. You don't need to go to all that trouble. How do we get it? I mean, it's not that hard.
Well, just ask them during Citizens to be Heard. It's like, hey, why aren't these
No,
televised?
the council people have to tell them. Who's your council person?
Sandoval.
Well, did you ask her?
She says, well, we're working on bringing more transparency. I brought it up.
Well, that is transparency.
I know it is transparency, but I brought it up with her.
And
And,
so you didn't get it answered?
She said, well,
When
we're
was
looking
this?
into this. It was when I ran against her
Oh.
in 2019.
Well, get some other people to do it. Besides that, now she's had a baby. So things change. Really,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, just get other people to ask, and then get them to put it in writing, and then start collecting them. That's what I'd do. I'm gonna do that.
I would say, like, I'm trying to tell everybody, hey, you don't need to broadcast these council
Well,
meetings.
but you need to tell the right people at the right time.
And then the other excuse I got from the TVSA manager,
Oh yeah, but they work for people. They don't.
they say that it's a staffing issue. They don't budget. Yeah, they don't budget.
Oh no, that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's.
And they're going to tell you that because they don't have any. I mean, they don't have any input in it. They work. I mean, they work for the council people.
Mhm.
Come on. Just tell people to do it. This needs to be. Everybody I know doesn't even want to come down here because it's not.
It definitely needs to be.
As seen on TV.
Mhm,
So
definitely.
Just tell people to tell her.
Like,
Just get people to say we want it. What do you call it?
mhm.
On the public TV. I
On
mean, we
public-
want to see it on TV.
Exactly.
Well, just tell enough people and get them to send them a.
To broadcast Citizens to be
Yeah.
Heard, right?
I bet you talk to a
exactly.
lot of people.
Oh yes,
Okay. Go out that way. Yeah.
I have a
Well,
bunch.
see, just get it. So
I-
get a little card and say, do this, and call your council person.
I have them all. I have a lot of numbers on
There
here,
you go.
from Tech Dot
I'm
to
glad you're doing it, but you're doing it.
Development Services to Public Works.
No, people to call the council people.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Well, anyway, this is very interesting. This is my first time actually doing a YouTube live. I forgot to hit that button. So basically, let's take a look at this architecture real quick. So is that one? Is that one? And it's like, so that sign ordinance thing is still in committee. So at least we got our question answered on that. Look at this right here. See. There's Lila Cockrell. She was mayor from 75 to 81, 89 to 91. That's awesome. Look at that. This is interesting right here. Harding Black. Gift the Artist of City of San Antonio, 1994. And this is Harberger. He was from June 2005 to May 2000. That's interesting. And then we have SA Speak Up. Henry Cisneros, 81 to 89. It's interesting. So if you ever want to travel to the San Antonio area, you can check the agendas and see what's on the agenda on the screen right here. It'll tell you. This is Nelson Wolf. He's going to be retiring from county judge June 1st, 91 to May 31st, 1995. He's been county judge since 1995. Let me check this one out. This is one-term Mayor Bill Thornton from 1995 to 1997. And then over here we have Howard W. Peak, June 1997 to May 31st, 2001. And then you have Edward D. Garza, 2001 to 2003, 2003 to 2005, served 2 terms. And then we have a couple over here. Let me show you this real quick. I don't think I can go through all of it because, you got the little wand thing. James R. Sweet, 1955, 1856. Pasquale Leo Bercor, 1863, 1865.
You y'all's baskets up front for tomorrow?
Yeah.
James H. French, 1875, 1885.
Since we're back here, up around.
10 years. Interesting. Let me just check this one. And this right here is George Pascal. Can't read that. Let's see here. It's February 27, 1893, September 6, 1894. Let me just check this one real quick.
Okay.
Sorry. This guy is Henry Elmendorf. Elmendorf was probably named after him. September 7th, 1894 to February 21st, 1897. And then we got a couple of others right here. Can't go through there because it's got like that little thing right there. It'll set it off. And then we have these two and then that. Well, we'll check that out the next time we're over here, which will be November 2nd.
Okay.
Have a good one. All right, gotta make sure I got everything because they're closing up for today. They gotta go home. It's an interesting old building, good architecture, San Antonio City Council Chamber. And it was a very productive meeting. I didn't touch base on everything else. I need to touch base on a couple of other items like the encampment on Marbakken 410. I got to touch base on that, encampment on Marbakken 410, and the Central Plaza in District 5 that has the bums just sleeping all over the place where it says keep out. That needs to be addressed too, even though District 5 City Councilwoman was there and present. District 4 City Councilwoman was not present. So hopefully Pelias will show up and crawl out of his hole and hear us. And I'll have to bring up the intersection of Gardendale Wurzbach not being taken care of, the bag that's over the pedestrian crosswalk signal that's been there since May. All right, well, till then, we'll see you next time. Okay, here we go.